dark and stormy day before Halloween. Okay, more like cloudy and slightly rainy day before Halloween, but 'tis the season to be frightened, so let's talk about ghosts. I'm gonna go ahead and start by saying that I don't believe in ghosts, but that doesn't mean I haven't seen them. Story and explanation to follow, but first I want to explain that I'm not particularly adverse to the idea of believing in ghosts either. I know lots of people have had unexplainable events in their lives, and who am I to doubt their experiences? In fact, studies have shown that at this point more people believe in the existence of ghosts than don't, by a very small margin. So finding out ghosts were real wouldn't end my world or anything. I mean, other than the pants-shittingly terrifying idea that ghosts exist and that's just part of your life now. So again, if you were to ask me most of the time, I would say that ghosts probably have a natural explanation, and that the dead aren't spending their afterlife as unpaid roommates to some very terrified people. Then again, if you asked me while I was walking back from the bathroom in the middle of the night down a dark hallway, my answer would be more, yes, of course ghosts exist, and they're going to eat my soul if I remain out of light for more than 3 seconds. So, with all that in mind, I'm going to tell you some stories of some creepy things that have happened in my life, some explainable and some not currently explainable by me. When I was a kid, I was terrified to discover that sometimes my bathroom and bedroom doors would open and close by themselves. Then I discovered that air pressure exists and that that's a phenomenon that occurs in most houses. Another thing I noticed when I was a kid was that occasionally my doorknob to my bedroom would rattle and turn, and upon investigation, no one would be on the other side of the door. While this didn't turn out to be a common phenomenon for houses, I did discover that it was the product of a loose doorknob and the vibrations from a garage door opening and closing. And then, last year, I awoke in the middle of the night with the feeling of presence in the room. I immediately darted up, and out of the corner of my eye, I swear I saw a 9-foot-tall shadow creature curled over the top of my bed. But when I turned to look, it was gone, so thinking that this was a scary but clearly sleep-driven event, I went back to sleep. And then about 30 minutes to an hour later, I awoke, this time with a silver glowing human-shaped creature in the middle of the room. This time, I locked eyes with it. I sat up and said hello to it, an incredibly freaked out and panicking hello. It then faded from existence right in front of my eyes, but it was there for like a good 45 seconds. I'm not sure I have an explanation for this. I mean, I know that there's this sort of dream after image thing that sometimes happens with people, but I was awake long enough to start introductions with the supernatural being, and only after that did it fade. And you could say that maybe I dreamt the whole thing, but here's the deal. After you see or think you see 2 ghosts in your room in one night, you don't go back to sleep. And I didn't. I frickin' watched the sunrise that morning. So either I was awake when that happened, or I had dreamt and slept through an entire Sunday. And finally, and more subtly, but more traumatizing personally to me, is the radio incident. In this story, me and a couple of my friends heard generic 50s era music playing from the back of the house very softly. And upon investigation, it was coming from the computer speakers. The computer was not on. And after unplugging the speakers from both the computer and the power source, the speakers continued to play the song. I don't have an explanation for this. I mean, I know electronics do some weird and unexplainable things, but that's some first act of a horror movie shit. And the thing with the other slightly unexplainable event is that most of the time I can write it off as dream-related somehow. But I was awake with 3 of my friends for this other one, and I have no freaking clue how it happened. Alright, so I've talked your head off about the slightly absurd-sounding events that have happened in my life, but I want to hear your stories. What are some of the creepiest or scariest ghost stories that have happened to you in your life, and were you ever able to explain the events of them? Let me know in the comments below. Also, subscribe, or the creepy door Satan hidden at the beginning of the video will eat you in your dreams. And until next week, have great days. First user comments section. Thanks, Jason. Glad you enjoyed it.